I'm happy to welcome Andrew Cohen. He's very popular.
It's a great pleasure to welcome Andrew back to Sivananda Ashram. I first met Andrew in New Year's Day, 1995.
It's such an honor to be speaking in this Satsang hall. I can't express it in words. It's just quite a big deal for me to be sitting here. I was sitting here when I sat down remembering when I had heard Swami Chidananda and Swami Krishnananda give Satsang here, and I don't think I could have imagined that I would ever be speaking here myself. So here we go. In 1984, it was the first time I visited Rishikesh as a seeker. And my wife had become a friend and a disciple of Swami Krishnananda, and I had met him as a result of that. But I didn't really know him very well. And I came into this hall, and he was sitting more or less where I'm sitting, and he was giving a talk. And I don't remember what the talk was all about, because I don't remember anything that he said, but he came to the end of his talk. He was basically saying that God or a spirit is whispering. There's a whisper, there's a call, and he says, "Can you hear it?" And he said the call or the whisper is, "Come together." And he kept repeating this. "Do you hear it?" He said, "Come together, come together, come together." He said, "In unity there is strength. Come together, come together, come together. In unity there is strength. Come together." And he kept repeating it. And I went into a state of absorption. I could not move. I went into a state of like Salbika Samadhi. I couldn't move. And there was something that he was transmitting in that moment to me. I mean, obviously there were a lot of people there, but there was something he was transmitting to me, something that I received in that moment that had a very big effect on the way I began to teach. Now, when I was a seeker, all I was interested in was my own enlightenment. I didn't really care about anything else. I didn't care about saving the world. I didn't care about transforming the world. All I cared about was my own liberation. So when Swamiji was uttering those words, and he made it very clear that that God was, or Spirit, was commanding us, calling us to come together, come together, come together. In unity there is strength. Come together, come together, come together. So I remember after he was finished that talk, I could not move. I was completely absorbed. Something had happened to me as a result of hearing that. And I remember I walked out of this satsang room and I stumbled down the steps to the Ganga, and it took me a few hours to recover. And I realized years later, after I actually became a teacher, that I'm convinced that in that moment, during that satsang, he was transmitting something to me that became really the foundation of what it is that I began to teach when I began to teach what I call evolutionary enlightenment. And what he was really saying was that if we are going to be able to affect change in the world, this is something that we can't do alone. That if we simply become a singularly enlightened individual all by ourselves, our ability to affect change in the world is going to be severely limited.
Sataya sadaya yuktas tasya dharana